Alright, boss. I'll get you that file as fast as I can. It must be somewhere in here. Ah, found it. Wait a minute. Who's this girl here? Seems she has blue hair, but never seen her before. I don't think they mind me reading this, right? What do we have here? File 18M-RFF38. Oh, she must be part of the experiment. Still, a little bit disrespectful to name someone like a prisoner, though. Her name seems to be Ema Hardy. Female, 21, 164 centimeters, 86 kilos, and from the US. Apparently, she attended a famous boarding school. Jeez, that either must sound like fun or eternal hell. She always performs free magic tricks on the streets with cards, coins, and even hats. Her specialty is performing card tricks. Her audience calls her Becky Emma, a word derived from beginner. Although she might be too loud when she laughs or talks, she is very easily approachable and friendly. It's hard to hate her. She pursued her magic career as soon as she became an adult, and she has always wanted to live freely from her parents' strict rules. It is rumored that she left the house to become a great magician in order to find her grandfather. Tough parents, huh? And it's impressive how kind she seems to be. Although, she did leave her parents. Well, that's the sort of thing people do to chase their dreams, am I right? How did she even like magic anyway? Ah, here's something. She disliked the confined lifestyle of a boarding school student. Reminds me of my childhood. She often sneaked out and roamed around the nearby streets. She happened to come across a street magic performance as she passed by. She was astounded by the show, and she immediately left an intense desire to learn magic. She learned magic tricks from books and the internet all by herself in her dormitory. Wow. Seems like she was really committed to this now. She showed her first magic trick to her schoolmates, and they were delighted by her talent, so she began to feel the enjoyment of performing magic tricks. But her enjoyment didn't last long. Her strict mother discovered the truth about her through rumors that were spreading around. Her mother strongly opposed Emma's will. The day she graduated, she decided to leave the house and left a letter to her parents. But what's with the mother's deal then? Isn't magic supposed to be awesome and cool? Sure, I guess not. Anyway, Emma started performing magic tricks on the streets in various places after leaving the house, but no crowds gathered, and there was no one who would willingly participate. She eventually began to lose interest in magic until the day she met a magician named Jay. Apparently, she had seen Jay 3 years ago performing on the street, and Jay was the reason that she decided to learn magic. The two of them met, and Jay listened to Emma's dilemma of pursuing magic. Jay said to her, "What you need is not talent, but a smile. Audience can't enjoy the performance if the performer herself does not enjoy it," Jay added. She then started to approach passersby on the street, according to Jay's advice. After several months, she gained fame and fans who loved their magic shows. She was rumored to be a cheerful magician who wandered the streets. Dang. Her journey was definitely not an easy one. Whoever this Jay person is, they really made her who she is today. Good for both of them. Although, the family thing still sort of stings. Hold on for a second. How long do we track her? Even have behavioral patterns? She seems to have no difficulty starting light conversations with others, although she might be a little too talkative sometimes. It also seems that she cannot endure quiet and awkward situations. Whenever she allies with a quiet and introverted test subject, she always tries to lighten the mood by talking while performing a simple magic trick. Sometimes when she acts this way, she has bad timing. Don't we all? When 14M-RFT02, Fiora, and 15M-RFT18 Magnus were having a heated argument, she tried to calm them down with a magic trick. However, instead of resolving the fight, she was scolded by both of them. But at least the argument was resolved. In detriment to her, but still resolved. And I have no idea who this Fiora and Magnus is. Maybe I can find a file on them later. But despite that, she still seems really sweet, yet a little dense at times, but sweet. Although I don't think think that can always be a good thing, right? Especially in an environment like this. It says here that she has a tendency to avoid hurting others' feelings as much as possible. It's hard for her to refuse other people's requests, so she often ends up in difficult situations. She just can't say no. Interesting. She had a lot of trouble after accepting 16M-RFT25's Camilo's request. Even she had to pretend to laugh while listening to 16M-RFT15's, apparently that's Barbara's, flat jokes. In the end, it seems that she got caught up with 18M-RFT34, who's Mai, and listened to her talk endlessly about fashion. It's said that Emma's just kind to everyone. In other words, it's easy for others to take advantage of her. However, don't know what's on her mind. Okay, so her weakness is being too nice. Note to self, have a backbone even if it's a tiny one. I wish I could tell her that, but at least she can carry herself and she must be a little dangerous, right? Anyway, likes and dislikes. Magic stuff. What a surprise. It says here that she likes her playing cards the most though. Well, this is one of the first things she got involving magic, so that makes sense. Okay, let's dig deeper. She often do tricks such as card spreads or card spraying whenever she's free. When she's searching for other smaller tools for magic tricks, the first things that she would look for are the cards. She didn't give an immediate response when we asked her why she likes cards, but after a few seconds, she smiled and said, "The moment when the audience chooses the card from the deck, that's when the magic happens." I guess that when she was performing at the street, she must have felt the connection with her audience that way. So I see. It's because she's able to sort of interact with her audience, to connect with them and all that. Once again, sweet. She loves to get close with others, and she is very approachable. However, when she is put into oppressive conditions, she recalled back the times when she was under control by her mother in her dormitory life. For instance, everyone on this island knows 14M-RFT09 Zukai has high table manners. Even a slightest mistake that causes a fight among test subjects, he'll gather everyone at the table and everyone began trying to listen to him. Emma always got picked by him for table manners, and in the end, she decided not to sit at the table with him anymore. It seems she would rather sit at the corner showing her back and eating bread. Not one for being told what to do, huh? Well, you wouldn't like being an intern then, Emma. Memories of her lived in a strict parent and dormitory life must have been bothering her ever since. She claimed that she walked out her dormitory door after graduation as if she is walking to the door of her freedom life. If she wanted to be free, why come here then? Maybe a possible sacrifice she was okay with, maybe some sort of deal. More questions for later. Emma's mother, Gabriella, actually resented her own father, who left home to learn magic. Thus, when she heard the rumor that her daughter had started performing tricks at school, she feared that her own daughter would leave the home to learn magic. Oh, so that's why? Emma's mother, Gabriella, was scared of who Emma would become? Doesn't quite justify it, though. Jeez, she was even obsessive with this crazy goal of hers, checking her bag, the props, and throwing all of them away? Lady, you're trying to ruin her! She was even trying to find her whereabouts, for goodness sake! Since then, she started to monitor and observe her daughter's whereabouts. Emma began to lose her sense of happiness and became less talkative. What did you expect? You take something that she loves, bam! Depression. Goodness me. Her gloomy past is probably the reason why she has become so independent now. Perhaps that is also why she hates when there's a quiet, awkward, and gloomy atmosphere. It's guessed that these situations and moods are traumatizing to her. So that explains why she tries to interrupt the quietness. She just can't handle it, it seems? Poor thing. But okay, I gotta know why go so far to look for your grandfather in the first place. I get the magic part, but there has to be more. One of the reasons that Emma left home was to look for her grandfather, Jack Healer. She thought she might find the truth behind the conflict between her mother and her grandfather. She hoped that she could reunite with her grandfather. Okay, interesting. At first, she was reluctant to cooperate in this test experiment, but when we offered to help her find her grandfather, her reaction completely changed. Ah, so it was a deal. Okay. How the hell will we find her grandfather, guys? We're researchers, not private investigators. Goodness me. She told us that she was very interested in someone named Jay. She claimed that Jay was the one who sparked her interest in magic. Emma spoke about Jay as if he were her friend. But when we showed some evidence to her about Jay, Jack Healer's resemblance, she recorded her response. Wait a minute. So, Jay is her grandfather, apparently? Well, we have some sort of response, but it's not here. We do have something on her mother, though. When Emma was 5 years old, I read her many fairy tales. From then on, she started becoming more distracted. I asked her to focus and pay attention to the story. Then she suddenly reached for my ear while grabbing something in her hand. Then she chanted some magic words and showed me a coin that she had been holding onto earlier, as if it had come from the back of my ear. I was shocked. I ignored her and kept reading, but my thoughts became complicated. My father used to play tricks like that when I was young. Strangely, my daughter reminds me of his personality and his actions. Father left the house when I was young, leaving behind only a single letter. After he left, he started sending letters with money in them, but for the past 20 years, I haven't heard anything from him. Sometimes I see a man that looks like him on a street I often pass by, but that man is young, so it couldn't be him. If he were still alive, my father would be a very old man. I was afraid Emma would follow in her grandfather's footsteps and leave the house. So I chose her friends with her and forbade her to go out often. I strictly taught her to use table manners and to not raise her voice when talking. Emma might have had a hard time, but I knew these strict teachings would somehow change her. However, look at what happened. I haven't been able to reach her for 3 years now. I regret my choices. If only I had let her do the things she wanted, she wouldn't have run away. So, is Emma living her own free life now? And that's where it ends. Looks like I'll never know if she had the answer or not, but still, showing someone to what you want to be? That can't be the right answer, right? And her testimony about Jay, could he have used magic to be younger? Maybe some sort of glamour? Maybe he was the subject here, but that doesn't matter right now. Emma was a magician for a reason. I mean, from her mother to struggling performances, I'm surprised she stayed a magician. What a girl. All this darkness, and yet she still shines. There was one thing I wanted to check though. Jack Healer. Do we have a file somewhere? If he's really our grandfather, then maybe we...
Intern Anthony, have you found the file yet? Better not be reading them.
Shoot, maybe another time. Yeah, it just seems to have been lost with the other files. Coming, boss. And that is the end of the Eternal Return file of Ema Hardy. I hope you enjoyed the lore as well as the way I presented it, because this was a lot of fun making. But with all that, I want to say thank you very much for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the jibba jabba, my kings, my queens, and my royals, and die. See you soon. And yes, comment, like, subscribe if you want more. Yeah.
Lord knows I tried. Yeah, you burn holes in my pockets. Who could have saw you selling my heart at the auction? Who know you be cold as my watches? Man, fuck your name, you better label that's a problem. Yeah, you, ooh, you a problem, girl. You fucked up my world. Yeah, you a problem, girl. You fucked up my